Okay. Well, thank you for coming. We are starting our next e-learning webinar, and it's navigating the world of scholarships. And this is a guide for parents and, most importantly, students. And when we talk about students, it's for grades 7s to 8. I was talking to Stacy, and a lot of people wait till it's, their children are in grade 10 and 11 to think about scholarships. And by that time, honestly, it really is late. So, thinking of scholarships when your students or your children are in grade 6 and 7 is a bang on time. If you want to go earlier, it's great. The most important part is you start having those discussions. And the big question here from this is, with your children, how are we going to afford your education? That's where it comes down to. How are we going to afford it? And scholarships is one of those great ways. Okay. Let's see. Oops. There we go. So we do e-learning webinars. This is new for us, and we have plans to host them bi-weekly on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. They're available via Zoom, so you can actually watch from your computer or join in through your mobile device and listen to it. Each one is approximately 30 minutes long. We do aim for 15-minute presentation followed by Q&A, but each presentation is a little different, and everyone is welcome. Okay. So first thing is, what do you know about scholarships? So does anybody know what scholarships is?
Oh, question for me?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I would consider it money for achievement, kind of a merit-based achievement, money for achievement in some capacity, academic or volunteer or character, something like that.
You are right. You are right. It's an excellence. It's a reward for hard work. And the hard work, and the key part is, it's not just about academics. It's about involvement. It's about sports. But it does involve hard work. That being said, with planning, it is a lot easier. Scholarship essentially is like free money, though. It helps cover a lot of your costs, and it's there. It's already allocated for students. It's just waiting to be taken. Okay. There is no restrictions on how many scholarships you can apply for. So you want to apply for as many as you want to prior to and during your studies. Okay. So there's a lot of myths around scholarships. Okay. A lot of people think scholarships, I have to have 80s, I have to have 90s these days to get scholarships. Fact is, that's not true. A lot of the scholarships, still a majority of them are based on academics, say it's 75 to 80%, but there is a large portion of them that's based on extracurricular activities. It's based on your community involvement, sports, corporate factors. It's not all about academics. There are entrance scholarships or admission scholarships that are based on academic excellence alone. And those are usually awarded by each university or college that your children are applying to. And in many of those cases, they don't require an application. I have 2 girls that went through university, and they've already, they didn't have to apply. It was like, whoa, I got $2,000. Yes, keep up the great work. And they were awarded during their years in university if they kept a certain average. So, but they are financial prizes or rewards for excellence used towards paying tuition. And as we said, there's academics, there's sports, there's talents, there's arts, there's community contribution. Okay. So we've already talked about what scholarships is. We're going to talk about how to apply for a scholarship. Is it hard? If you leave it to the last minute, yes. Okay. We do know of a lot of people that have got scholarships. And as I said earlier, we are in the process of organizing a separate webinar where we're going to interview some of the youth that did apply for scholarships. What did they do? What didn't they do? How did they support each other? And if they didn't get that scholarship, how did they rebound from that too? And you'll hear from some of these students, they had plan B, they had plan C as well too. It's not all about, hey, I'm going to apply for the scholarship and I know I'm going to get it. They had other plans, whether it's job, whether it's bursaries, whether it was OSAP, okay? But it can be overwhelming, which is why you're here and we're here to help you. So fact alone, there's about $70 million available in scholarships each year in Canada. About $7 million of that goes unclaimed because students don't realize there's so many scholarships that exist. I've been told, and I haven't researched yet, there's like a Star Wars scholarship. There's one based on height. You know, there are so many. If you live in a marginalized community and you don't have money, there are funds. The Toronto Community Housing, being one of the organizations that serve those communities, has their own scholarships. So really, it's about looking and asking questions. Okay. So we want you to go get that money. But to go get that money, it really is, the key part here is taking control and taking ownership to build your own structure of success. Parents will guide you along the way. If you are in grade 6, grade 7, this is where what we call, let's get together, shared advocacy. Okay, your parents have been your advocate growing up. Now this is where you start to take a lot more ownership for your education, for your life. But it's shared. You still need your parents. You still need that guidance. The goal is, by some point in high school, university, and it's going to be different for each person, you become your own self-advocate. I worked at the University of Toronto and I worked with a lot of students. And many of them struggled because they didn't have that key skill. So this is where we want you and your parents to understand it's about you taking control and building your own structure of success. Okay. So when do you start building your scholarships? Okay, it's a path, and that's what we're creating here right now. You are here to build your scholarship path. Here we say it's grade 8 to 9. To be honest, I would start it sooner now. It's very competitive out there. So starting in grade 8 or even lower, your job right now is to build your soft skills. Okay, learn about teamwork. What are some other soft skills? Communication, okay, organizational skills. Build your soft skills now and participate in extracurricular programs. Those are really key. That's your job. By grades 9, 10, and 11, that's where people tend to drop activities. We encourage you not to drop activities. Or if you do, start focusing on 1 or 2 that can lead you to a path to scholarships. In grade 9, that's where we say a lot of students tend to drop activities because school will get tough.
Yeah.
School is going to be tough even in university. It's actually better to learn how to manage your time now in high school so that you're better prepared for post-secondary institutions and better prepared for life, or as you know, as a parent. And so to take away those learning opportunities and make it quote unquote easier, that being said, it depends on each individual, but we encourage you, at least if you do drop it, stick with 1 or stick with 2 and focus on it so you have a story to tell when it comes to scholarships. Again, we put grade 10 here, but I would start it even sooner, grade 6, grade 5. Start your community contributions. That is your story that you can tell when you're writing your scholarships, scholarship letter, and also that's the story you can tell when you go for job interviews. In we had a meeting with Microsoft, and we actually had a presentation with them. And the Microsoft educator of Canada. She said, you know, when they hire people, they hire not just on marks, or they don't really on marks. It's more, tell me a story of what you've done in your community that's made a difference. Because they know if you've done this awesome work in the community, chances are you're going to do the same thing in their company. And that's what they want. People who will make a positive difference, work hard, collaborate in their community. So you need to do that in your own community right now. Okay. Starting that plan, as we said, and that's what you're doing right now. Register online for scholarship websites. So we suggest that you start that in grade 11. Okay, so you have an idea of what you're looking for. And in fact, we have another presentation, and it is geared towards grade 11 students and up, and how to apply. We offer a template so that you can start tracking your hours as well too. So that's something that will be coming later. So that the goal is by grade 12, which is when your applications are all due, you'll not just be able to submit, but you'll be able to submit with confidence, knowing that you've done everything possible with your family support, that you've given yourself the best chance. So with grade 12, usually the applications for scholarships happen in the first semester, and then scholarships are usually open from September to January. And then after that, they'll go through their vetting process and you find out sometime in the spring. Okay. So the path is start early right now, develop your soft skills, participate in extracurricular activities, work on community contributions. By grade 11, register online for scholarships websites, and then grade 12, and you apply with confidence. So where do you start looking for scholarships? Key, and you can see the word there, is technology. Let the technology help you save your time. Okay, save you time, sorry. The other places you can look, and we'll be showing you a list of different websites, is your guidance counselor. So when you get to high school, guidance counselors will have access to all this information. Go into the office, ask about scholarships. Okay. As I said, register online to the scholarship websites. Some of them actually match you to the right scholarship. So you'll fill out a profile and they'll say, based on your profile, here's what we recommend and suggest. Okay. Register. When you register for the college and university, each one is different. So again, do your research. Some may say register online, and then this puts you into the pool of applicants. So it may be a separate step. So make sure whichever universities you apply for or post-secondary institutions, ask about scholarships and what steps you need to do to access it. Okay. Entering your data, and this is really key. Starting now, I would say, not just for scholarship reasons, but for your resume. Pick out a Google Doc, and every volunteer activity you do, every achievement you've made, track it. Track the hours, and what's more important too is track the skills you're developing and the outcomes. So if you were instrumental in leading a program that had 20 youth, say that. And what skills did you develop? Communication skills, presentation skills, leadership skills. And I led 20 youth in this initiative. That information is really key, not just for scholarships, but for your resume. So you're doing both at the same time. When you sign up and register for these scholarship websites, you'll also get alerts for upcoming scholarships and reminders of deadlines. So on this slide, you'll see there's many universities that offer them. Humber College has a large site for scholarships and awards as well too. Okay. So here is a great site where if you can do a controlled print screen, these are some of the websites, current ones too, that are active, and we'll also send that information out. So you have studentawards.com, scholarshipscanada.com, YConic, letter Y, CONIC.com, findmyscholarships.com, scholarships.gc.ca, educanada.ca, and uniformforum.org. Okay. And the actual interesting part is, before we go into the big am I eligible, is there are scholarships not just for Canadians. There are scholarships for individuals who want to come into Canada and study here.
Right.
So it's wonderful that, you know, we have all this, you know, resources available. And there are scholarships not only for post-secondary institution, you know, in person, but there's also virtual learning. So there are scholarships open for virtual learning as well as research. Okay. So the big question though is, are you eligible? Or more importantly, how do you get yourself to be eligible? Okay. And again, you don't have to be an academic genius to apply. Scholarships are built on different criteria. Because right now, a lot of people still have that understanding, well, I don't have a 90, so I'm not going to apply. No, you got to try, and it's not only about awards or academic marks. So here are some facts, and this is a few years old. Of the 7,363 individual scholarships listed in the 2004 scholarship, so this is an old one, but stats haven't really changed. 17 have required some kind of agricultural involvement. 262 required athletic involvement. 615 required some sort of leadership involvement. 1,115 required school or community service. 80 required the student to have a general disability. And 631 required some sort of extracurricular activities. So this is just an idea to show you, you know, the breadth of, you know, scholarships that are available. As I said, there's one on height. If you're a certain height, you can apply for a certain scholarship. Okay, especially if you have a passion. If it's in engineering, if it's in the environment, there are scholarships. Music. Scholarships available. So the criteria of the scholarships. Okay. So some may base it on financial need. So if your family makes a certain amount of income, then you may be eligible for a specific scholarship. Some will be based on overall achievement. So leadership, your awards, your athletics, your artistic ability. That's why actually, as I said, writing down everything you've accomplished, everything you do, everything you learned on a Google Doc, great. Because it saves you a lot of time when you get to grade 11 and grade 12 and you have to write those letters. If you're in activism and around the environment, that's huge today too. Academic achievement, contribution to the community is very big. I think it's the Duke of Edinburgh, which is very big around the community involvement. Then the last one is there are career-specific scholarships. And those we may find at a college or a university for students who plan to pursue a specific field of study: engineering, law, technology, hospitality. Okay. But the great part is, if you're doing this now, you're doing your research and this is your planning, and this is the hard work. It's not hard if you do it now. It's hard if you do it in grade 11 and grade 12. Okay. So here on this page, we actually hosted a virtual parent expo back on November 16th, 2017. And you can still find it on our website. It's parentexpo.ca. And there's a series of videos. We had 31 presenters, over 10 presentations. And the focus of that expo was on what happens after high school. preparing your child for their post-secondary journey. And one of them was Close Your Wallet, learning about OSAP assistance program, loans, grants, and scholarships. Now, given that the OSAP has gone through some changes over the last year, some of that information may be outdated, so I encourage you to still do your research around OSAP. But you will hear from the manager, I think it was, or director of Scholarships Canada in the presentation. So I encourage you to go to our website and check out all those videos. But if you're interested in the scholarships, there is one there too. And we do have plans to host another one later this year too. Okay. So the scholarship search map. Okay, again, scholarships are not just built only on different criteria, but they're also built in they're also found in different places. And what we mean by that is there are scholarships also to travel abroad and study. It's a very different world now from when we grew up and I grew up. I mean, I do remember some travel abroad, but nothing like there is today now. So I encourage you, and this is where you need to have those conversations with your parents and with your family. If traveling and going abroad or staying even in the country is something you want to do, start having those discussions, plan how you do it, learn what are the skills you need to live independently. But know that there is funding available as well too. I know there are, I think it's in high school, there's a great French program that you can travel to Quebec. I think it's Nova Scotia. It's not necessarily a scholarship, but it's more of a lottery, and you can get a credit on French and be away for 4 weeks in the summer studying French. Now, I know also you have to speak French 100% of the time or you get in trouble, but it's wonderful. And my girls both did it. And it was a great learning opportunity for them, as well as us. Okay. So look closer to home. So we've talked about also looking away, but looking closer to home too. So check with your parents' workplaces. Check with your family's workplaces, relatives. For example, Scotiabank National Scholarship offers 12 scholarships. McDonald's, approximately 50% of the McDonald's employees are 18 years of age or younger, and they were awarded by Canada's top 100 employer for the fact that they offer scholarships. So if funding is really important in terms of being able to put yourself through school, you may decide when you apply for a job, should I work for a corporation or company that offers scholarship versus one that doesn't? And that's what we want you to do, is really, this is part of the planning. You may decide to work for an organization that has scholarships available to you. Okay. Here's the look away from home. So again, there's many scholarships offered to Canadian students to study abroad. And these are just a few here, which you can take a look, but we will send this all actually. We'll send you a link to all of these information as well too. So we've got a short video on 4 important steps to take when applying for a scholarship. It's a summary of what we've talked about, but a little more detail. It's fun and it's fantastic, so hold on. Oh, wait, where did we go?
Ready to apply for college scholarships? That's great, but maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by the process. Not to worry. Let's break it down into 4 simple steps. Step 1, get organized. Set up a system to track your progress, a spreadsheet, notebook, or calendar. Then build backwards, starting with the final due date and including deadlines for recommendation letters, essay drafts, and the date by which you need to request school transcripts. If you organize everything now, you won't have to cram the day before the application is due. Step 2. If you know you need letters of recommendation, Start asking people who know you and who can speak to your work to write them for you. Remember, you want to seek out teachers, counselors, and former employers. Friends and family members can't write your letters. Step 3. Get working on your essay. Careful, you can't submit the same essay for every application, but this doesn't mean you have to write each one from scratch. Tailor your essays to suit each organization offering scholarships. Ask a friend or teacher to read over your drafts. Step 4. Proofread everything. And don't miss deadlines. Scholarship committees are looking for ways to cut down the hundreds of applications they have to read through. No need to make it easy for them to disqualify you by making careless mistakes. Learn more about applying for scholarships at stepuputah.com.
Fantastic. Actually, the one great thing that this video highlighted, and what's really, really important at any age, is the relationships. The relationships that you have with your educators, your coaches, your mentors, the individuals that know who you are, because there will be a time, whether it's for your jobs or for scholarships, that you will need references. You will need testimonials. And so by developing those relationships early on, it will only strengthen your position when you're applying for applications or scholarships, and as well as interviews. So definitely, and I always tell my kids, whenever you're in an angry moment, think twice about, what you may be asking that person one day. You may need their assistance, okay? Was there anything else with that video? Did anybody have any questions? Is it pretty straightforward? It gives you an insight to what is coming, but obviously you'll see there's a lot of planning. And when you're writing your letters, if you have that document of everything you've done over the last few years, it makes it easier to highlight and pinpoint what activities you want to highlight in there. Let's see. And nope. And we want to move to the next screen. There we go. So pre-application is where you're at right now. If you're in grade 6, 7, 8, 9. So big part is talk to your parents, teachers, and influencers. Let them know. Let them know what you want to do. You want to apply for a scholarship. And if you know which ones, great, so that they can be part of your team. Okay? Create your plan. So if you want to, you have a goal to in sports, play for the NCAA. That is possible. So many of them, so many athletes out there, that's their big dream. So start creating your plan. How are you going to get down there? Who do you have to connect with? If you're in basketball, there is a lady, Sharon Butler, who is Coach Mom. She helps the Canadian athletes navigate their way through the NCAA and apply for a college down in the States. Document your hobbies, your employment history, grades, community service, achievements, and dates. Okay, and what I added to were the skills. What did you learn? And outcomes. So again, if you have numbers, so you've managed a budget, and you were on school council and you were the treasurer and you managed a budget of $10,000. That's big. That's what will separate your resume from others. That's what will separate your scholarship from others. If you can quantify things. And start collecting all the necessary documents and reference letters. Don't be shy. You may only be in grade 7. Don't be shy to ask for that reference letter. You never know when you'll need it. And when you do, you'll have it there. And out of respect, Give your referees time. If you have a deadline, give them at least a few weeks. And usually what I ask anyone who asks me for a reference letter is, give me some information. What are you applying for? What are some of the criteria, so that when I'm writing that reference letter, I can at least understand, what I'm writing for and how I can pull out my experiences and your strengths to put together the best reference letter possible. And then if you're using or asking any of these individuals to be a verbal reference, whether a job or scholarship, out of respect and courtesy, give them a heads up. Ask them ahead of time and send them an email or call and ask them, hey, can I use your name again for the scholarship application or job interview? They'll appreciate it. Okay. And that's the end of our scholarship presentation. We know it's a lot of work, but by even just listening and being here, you've taken a lot of work out of what you would have to be doing in grade 11 and grade 12. So the important part is with, as a family, to start having those discussions. See where, as a youth, as a student, you can start to take more ownership and voice and let your parents know what is it you want to do, and let your community know what your plans are. And that way you're building your dream team. It will make it so much easier. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, we will be running another follow-up session with regards to having some students who will share their experience on how, when they wrote their scholarships. In fact, actually, one of them is, I believe she won a $20,000 scholarship to the University of Toronto, and it was through a 4-year period. And so the stresses, actually, of maintaining those scholarships as well, too. She'll talk about that. But next Thursday, May 23rd, we are having a presentation on shaping the parent and child relationship. This is for parents and mature students. It's actually based on a research project done by the University of Toronto's Mississauga students. So this is shaping the parent-child relationship through a youth perspective. And they identify some of the challenges and barriers, but at the same time offer solutions. And it's incredible. So hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our website, letsgettogether.ca, for more information, and look forward to seeing you later.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Stacy.
Yeah, a lot, like a fire hose. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be sharing it with others, and I wish I'd had this. This is brilliant.
Yeah.